What is up, Bruno? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I actually have a surprise for you.
What's that? You t
Since you're streaming, you can open Twitter.
I
Your
know.
amazing notifications.
You told me to not open it. I already
But
saw it,
now
though.
now you can open it.
I already saw it. Yep. Yep, this is great. Fantastic job,
Thank
Bruno.
you.
No problem.
It wasn't me, but thank you.
I know, I already got sent it by someone like, or, I even got some tattoos. That's nice.
Yeah.
Anyways, let me check. Yeah, but we are here to talk something different, actually. So we got
That's too bad.
KeenCon Team Series 2v2 Month 2. And first of all, let's discuss maybe a little bit about the map pool, because we got
Yeah.
Awoken Corrupted, Keep, Deep Embrace, The Dark Zone, Tempest Shrine, Sarnath, Veil of Nav. The initial map pool supposed to have the KOTH, right? As well included.
I mean, yeah.
It was
They
in
said
the
they
place of
wanna.
ruins, I think.
Yeah. They said they wanna like they have like 9 maps or 10 maps, and
hmm
every month they're gonna be rotating the maps. So we're gonna have different map pool basically for every month.
hmm
And this month we have the addition of Dark Zone, which is
So
okay.
the main idea of them is like to implement one new map per map
Yeah.
pool, or okay, that's why they like decided to not get like the KOTH this month. So it's probably
Yeah.
gonna be
Probably
next
next
month.
month.
Okay.
Also, Lockbox is now playable in 2v2 as well, so they might add it at some point too.
hmm And then, do you think like, okay, so we got 7 maps map pool right now, yeah?
Yeah.
And did they say like for the finals on LAN, like how do they want to do it? Or they gonna maybe they gonna like count like which maps were the most popular and they gonna choose out of them. But that wouldn't make sense actually, cause like,
All they can make a vote.
but cause some of them you got already in the map pool like each
Yeah, for
month.
all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I don't know.
think maybe they'll just make a vote, or they'll just decide which map plays the best.
Mhm.
But I
That's
guess like 5 of the maps should be very easy. It's just
mhm.
the other two.
The cool idea is that it's only one new map per like series, cause it
Yeah,
feels like two of new ones might be a bit
it's too
worse
much.
because you got people like stuck for a month practicing 2 maps and like some of the maps won't be really as good for 2v2 and like some people won't like it and like in the end of the day it's like you need to have people who like have fun and etc, right?
Yeah.
But what do you think about the Dark Zone? I think it's super interesting map. Like what I like about it is that it doesn't have railgun, so it's like changes the tempo a little bit, but it also doesn't have machine gun or like other guns. Like
For LG,
LG is very,
nobody picked it up.
yeah, it's very like hard access to the LG. So I think like when I watch Rafa play, he pays a lot of attention to the LG and he tries to pick it up every time. And he also knows when his team has like LG and the enemies don't, which is important, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's a map that doesn't have rail, so it's there are 2 maps in this map pool that have no rail, which I think is a good change of pace from a very rail-heavy map pool that we've always had so far.
hmm
And it's also like there are no real long-range maps either. There's Tempest and Ruins, but I wouldn't really say Ruins is a long-range
hmm
map, because it's basically vertical, not really horizontal.
hmm
But the Dark Zone, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't think I'm a big fan of it, to be
hmm
honest.
Okay. Me neither. I'm also not a big fan of it. I don't really like the graphic of that map. It
It's too
reminds me,
dark.
yeah, it's too dark. It's like a bit depressing and stuff, but whatever floats your boat, actually. So,
It's just a month, so I don't mind it, and it's just
yeah,
one map. The
yeah,
cool thing that they
yeah.
do with this, it's pick, right, instead of ban. So
hmm
we have to practice it because some teams might pick it.
hmm Honestly, Bruno, I'm gonna tell you like this. I really like how the map plays, but I just hate graphics. I really like the map, but I hate graphics. If they made like new graphics to the map, like Quake Champions new graphics, I would really enjoy it. Cause like
If it's like yeah, even with brightness at max, it's still really dark.
I just don't like how it looks, like the graphics. I don't like it because the layout is like okay, and like I like that there is only one green, so it's like it's like a lot about the rotation, and I think some people like Cooler, for example, they can be extremely good at such map, especially if it was 1v1 map. I think Cooler would be extremely good on it. He's not really like Rapha, like timings to the split second, but he's like super good with rotations, breaking them,
Yeah.
and cutting the ways off and stuff like this. So it will be interesting to see. Um, I don't want to bore people more about this map in this video because I think like the 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 background I'm getting, like the feedback I'm getting from them is like I think not much people like the map anyway. Uh, the rest of the maps are like regular, so there's nothing to talk about. Uh, do you think like Serious-vengeuR is gonna be finally dethroned this map, or we need to wait a few more months?
This map pool does not favor them. Like it's first of all, there are two maps without rail, and most of the maps are very close range. I can see like two teams that could maybe take them down, but I think they're still gonna win this one, but it's gonna be closer.
Hmm.
Right? It's a good map pool for like for players like Rapha and Maxter.
Hmm.
I would say for you and Kilson too, but Kilson is a complete rail whore and he doesn't move, so
Hmm.
not so much.
Hmm.
But I still think this is a good map pool to try and finally dethrone Serious and Keltz.
Hmm. Do you think like team from like mixed team, like do you think like mixed teams like NA EU have advantage over like one region team? How do you, what do you think about that? Because like I was thinking, and I think that the same region like teams got advantage because they usually play on their home server. Because
That's
like
true for
it,
one part, but you know, we know how Quake Champions plays with big differences, right?
mhm,
It just completely changes the game. Look at RMV and Dramis, for instance, when they played. If
mhm,
you play versus them or you play versus Serious and Keltz or versus Rapha Maxter, the game is completely different.
yeah,
Just because, and for Dramis, I guess the game is always the same because he's always on the one on high ping. But for the
mhm,
rest of us, it changes wildly how we need to approach fights just because our Quick Champions netcode acts when there is some type of ping difference.
mhm, mhm.
So I don't know who really has the advantage.
Also getting used to the server, because for example, if we are from EU and we
Yeah,
usually play on Central and then we have to play West, it's also different.
exactly.
And for
So for
example,
them, it's
Rafa
always
playing
the
like
same, but
Rafa playing all the time on EU West, so he already knows the server in and out. True.
he should be coming back to Europe soon, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think in April he's coming back. So I think
Nice.
for the month three he already gonna be here and they gonna like play on EU only, which is nice.
That's nice. And
Uh,
I don't think Dramis and RMV will actually play this month
why?
because they changed the date, right? It was supposed to be the first Saturday of every month, so that's the day that
Okay.
RMV got from his manager to have an off day, but then they changed it to be 1 week earlier this time around,
Hmm.
and on Sunday. So RMV, I don't think he can make it.
So RMV is working on Sundays.
Yeah,
What is he doing nowadays?
I have no idea. I think he works at a restaurant.
Okay. Ooh, that's a shame. But that's open up another cool feature for us, and we could see like Dramis and Xron in a team.
Yeah, they
They
played really well
they played a
when they
study and
played.
they did good, yeah. And I think they can do good. Like it's a mixed team, and I think they are both super chilled. Like Dramis is
Yeah,
like he speaks like he's failing asleep or something,
but
and
with Haran, I think everyone plays well.
I think
Like
so.
we talk about this a lot of times, but when it comes to team players on 2v2, currently on Quake Champions, he's one of the best. Because he can play any style, he can play with anyone. His aim is also really good right now, and he's really chill to be with.
Yeah, he's adapting pretty well. I wish Hran could escape to EU and be able to play like KeenCon finals,
Yeah,
and then I would like to see him play with Tox. And coming to Tox, like, do you think he's gonna participate in this one with Cooler? Because we see him like practicing with Cooler, like they played with us like last few weeks, like a bit, and but it still feels like Cooler does like maybe at the moment he does better with Danches because Danches is also hitting a lot and he's like quite good and they can speak Russian and they kind of I think for him it's like much easier to explain to Danches what they need to do and Danches like kind of adapting and Tox is already he's already established player so he has his idea about the playing and I think he's like a bit stubborn for like like suggestions and maybe and like definitely
maybe.
for both of them it's much harder to communicate
Yeah,
in English because it's not the first language.
And the biggest thing is that neither of them play the game actively, right? Quake
Mhm.
is all about if you're grinding, you're doing well, but if you're not grinding, you're not doing well. We can see that in Maestro as well.
Obviously, because they already played together and they had like
Yeah,
second place on DreamHack. They only lost to Rafa the Hunk, so it means that
exactly.
they got potential to be the best. But we're talking. That's what I want to clarify. Like we understand like their achievements and that they can be the best, but we're talking about now. Like both of them didn't play and like both coming back and the patches changing left and right, like which is also not like favoring talks, I would say. So and it's
Yeah,
online.
if you give them
And
now, if you ask me their like what score they can get now, I don't think they would even get top 8 right now. In 3 months, I have no doubt they could even get top 4 and beyond. But right now, there is no way they can get top 8.
yep. I'm just curious if they're gonna participate at all. Cause
I doubt it.
I doubt it too. Cause like I know talks like when he found out about the map pool, he was quite upset. So
Yeah.
he doesn't really want to play Dark Zone, and that alone already like takes them out of the game for like majority of times. Cause like people gonna be picking like Dark Zone, and it's already 1-0 up. So
And then there's Veil as well, which doesn't really favor Tox, and a lot of the maps are a lot close range. And then there's the shotgun buff that
mhm.
goes against someone like Tox as well. And given what I was hearing from like when they played together on Cooler Stream, they didn't seem to be happy a lot with the shotgun or the netcode. So I doubt they would participate.
Yeah, I know Cooler also changed his internet, so he has two connections now, most likely, and it seemed a bit better for him. Don't know how it's like going now, but anyway, talking about the favorites, you know what? I really think Maxter Rapha can like win this one because, as you said, the map pool will favor them because they are the team who grinds the
Yeah.
hell out of the game. So they will be the team who gonna pick Dark Zone against anyone, and they will be winning most of the maps, like on Dark Zone. That's why I also want to like sit down with Kilson and take it down like the map and play it more. Like we scheduled some games with you and Kubert, and we also want to play more of Dark Zone and have some grind on it. So like to not like lose this map. But I think there is much more teams which don't really care about that map.
Yeah, like a lot of teams aren't practice. I think it's a whenever a new map comes in, especially in this format of pick, you have to grind it because some teams will pick it, and if you don't, it's one down. You can't afford to go into a best of three with already one map down. You have to grind it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I,
Uh,
I don't I'm not sure if I agree with them. I think Serious and Keltz should still be able to win. And right
Same.
now, I haven't really seen Rapha and Maxter improve in like 3 weeks now. They seem to
Mhm.
have stagnated a little bit. I'm not sure if they're trying out stuff or just polishing the edges before
Mhm.
improving more. But if anything, I've seen you and Kilson improve a lot more over the past month. I knew you
Mhm.
and Kilson would be very good, and you just needed to click. But it seems now you two are finally starting to
Yeah, but
find how each other plays.
the thing is like I've been grinding 2v2 and TDMs like most of my life basically alongside 1v1. It's like it never get to the light that TDM was like main mode. The thing is like I exactly know what's our mistakes, and I told Kilson like because at some point like not before some Estoti like few months ago when we are only starting. And I think if that was even before when I was playing with Xron and we won one Estoti. Because like Kilson was like trying to like get some practice, and I told him like, you know what, like we don't really even need to practice. Like we can achieve the same after 1 month of practice and like 2 hours per day, every day. We can achieve the same thing if we just like speak overnight and like say like what's wrong. Because like the mistakes are super like tiny to change. But at some point, like, some things are hard for some people and some things are like easy for some people. Like Gilson is like one of the best like 1v1 champions like we
Yeah.
we ever had in Quick Champions. But I think some things which are like boosting him in 1v1, they are limiting him in TDM. So it's
Like
like,
speaking.
for
For some
example,
reason, it's very hard for duelers to speak while having fights in 2v2.
mhm, that's the one thing. And like not even I would understand like because we also played Overwatch and we had like players who were like who couldn't like say a word while they were like pressing buttons. But as soon as you're killing someone or you're getting killed, you can say something. The problem is like if the fights usually take long in 2v2 because good teams
Yeah.
like play if you have a fight, make sure that you killed one guy, but you already have another guy running from spawn and you have continually like second fight and it already takes 20 seconds. So it means the item which was picked up it's already spawning soon. And second of all, like you already forgot the timing and you cannot tell your teammate. So if you are not speaking during you fighting, it's like you basically not saying anything, and it's like, it's very difficult for some people.
This reminds me of a situation when I was watching your stream a couple of days ago, and you're playing Corrupted Keep. I don't remember versus who.
Hmm.
Kills. You were waiting for Heavy.
Yeah,
Heavy was spawning
yeah.
at like 48 or 49, and Kilson was having a fight on Mega.
Hmm.
And at some point during the fight, he's fighting someone over the Mega.
Yeah.
I think
I'm
it was
asking
a
about
protection.
heavy. Yeah, I'm asking about
You
heavy.
asking about when
He
if he
says,
picked up the Mega, he says 50, 50. And you're asking, and you're looking at the time, it is like 48. There's no
yeah, I'm
way
like, yeah,
he
yeah.
picked up the Mega at 50. He says 50 then.
And he says like I did 50 damage. I'm like, "Gee, that was funny actually. That was funny. Yeah. So I think it comes down like each team has different issues basically, right? And you
Yeah,
got to fix them. Like for example, like when I play with Ron, like everything like we know exactly what to do. It's just different kind of issues appearing, there is
of
some
course.
like
It's the same in
fighting
1v1.
some
Everyone
fighting
is,
issues or like splitting issues because with Chron I feel so comfortable that we are just splitting a lot because in the end of the day we don't demand like the help. We
yeah,
understand that we are on our own and we understand what kind of like moves we can take because like I understand that if we go into heavy and Chron drops their force, for example, on ruins, and he sees that the situation is bad, I don't even need to ask him or tell him to back off or like what we're doing because I know like his intuition is to do the like right moves. So it's like different kind of issues are for different teams, and I think like
exactly.
some of them are like fixable during like one night and talking and like it's same in 1v1 sometimes you were on tournament on LAN and you were playing certain way first day and then you only had to like click like one little thing to completely change for the next day for better or worse and it's like I think like it's like about every game it's the same so
I agree. And
yeah.
it's not only mistakes, right? It's only like everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses. So
Hmm.
so you have to play a certain way with some people and a certain way with other people. And as a
Exactly,
team, you guys need to agree how you want to play.
exactly. And speaking of Rapha Maxter, what I really like is because I used to play like some fun 2v2s with Maxter and I remember how he communicates. And now I was laughing that he started to communicate like Rafa. So there is
Yeah,
like there is no chill comms. He's like legit like screaming, and he's like all
lots of
body.
noises.
His whole body is into the comms, and like he kind of like mimics the Rafa like comms. So he's like getting very excited, very high tone, and very loud, like,
Yeah.
and it's like is this like this tone of like that it's do or die or it's like zero or nothing it's nothing or all and stuff like this this is funny to watch basically like how his communication changed.
But he got a lot better at communicating as well. I mean, he couldn't get much worse than he was because he was really hard to understand. But now you can actually understand like 50% of the things it says. It's really good.
Yeah, and especially that he screams so
Yeah.
you can catch out more. No, I'm joking, but I think like this kind of like this energy keeps them going. Because if you have some like I think when you play with Rafa, you don't really want to have like quiet second because it's getting awkward. And I think it helps with communication. So if you're putting a lot of energy, so even if he screams and the intonation is high, it reminds his brain to like keep talking, keep talking, keep talking. The more energy and the more positive you are and the more loud, like the more you continue to do that. Because like if you are super chill and then you
And keeps
sometimes
everyone
you speak
focused.
or not speak, then you forget to maybe communicate at some point. I don't know. I don't know.
It keeps everyone focused as well. Because if you have a big lead or if you're behind by a lot, the
Yeah.
communications go down and the vibes go down, and you start being more chill, not caring a lot. But with him, even if he's winning like 50-5, they're still focusing on timing and positions, and they never lose focus basically.
Yeah, it feels like you're aware all the time. So it's like you don't have like a kind of lazy moment during the game. Because if you got a team who communicates like they still communicating good and but just like in a very like not slow motion, but very like steady voice, like not really screaming and not really like talking fast. They that the tempo makes you kind of sleepy, and lazy, and maybe sometimes you're like missing on some opportunities. And when you are very energetic with your comms, like they keep the awareness like high, so they are all the
Yeah,
time focused and
always alert.
concentrated. Yeah, yeah, always alert. So I think that helps at some point.
I completely agree. And to contrast with that, you can check like Serious and Keltz comps, which half the time it seems they're both just depressed.
Yeah, but I think, but yeah, but also what I wanted to say, I think for them this kind of communication
It
works
works.
because first of all they need sounds in the game because they playing much slower. They not really rushing every single
Yeah.
item. Second of all, they playing positional very good, and third of all, I think their personalities are not like this type of like. Kals is Swedish, so by nature he should be like more calm. Like this is my stereotype, but like all the Swedish people who I met are really like, calm, collected. They not
Except
re-
Sparty. Sparty is the exception.
Yes, actually,
Sparty just shouts.
right, right. But
But he's the only one.
because he's like a little bit deaf, I think. No, I'm joking, but still, like, I remember we were going to like, there was like 2v2 tournament as well on QuakeCon 2018, and we were bootcamping in this Java cafe, and like the PCs were upstairs like on the second level or something, and I remember approaching the building with Xron or with Kilsen.
You could
we
hear
already we
Sparty.
already heard him like on the streets, and it's Dallas,
Heavy
all
37.
exactly, all the windows are closed, doors are closed, because there's like a lot of air conditioning going inside the room, so like like everything's closed and you can already hear this party.
Nice.
But yeah, I think for them it's better to communicate like calm. I think for Kilsen it's good to communicate calm because he likes to stand a lot and listen and stuff. And I also prefer like I don't have problem because I was playing with Rafa and I also like those comms. It just I'm not gonna mimic Rafa because I don't think it's like good for me to, I don't mind him like be very energetic about the comms, but I will like try to stick to my tempo and to
Yeah.
my like intonation because like there's no point. I don't think there's a point for me to like try to like copy him. uh,
Especially if you're playing with Kilson. It's better to have some more space.
yeah, and as I said, like it doesn't necessarily mean that one way of communicating is better than the other as soon as you give in the right info. If you
Yeah.
give in the timings info, what you're doing, if you're going to do something or you're considering something, like focus, the plan and everything, then it's like there's no good or bad communications like style.
Speaking of right way of communicating, do you think it would be better
Mhm.
if Rafa gives Maxer more space for him to play as he wants rather than trying to micromanage him?
Hmm.
Because usually when I see Maxter, like he's still struggling a little bit with his English, and he's also trying to learn how to play 2v2, the Rafa way, not his own way. Because for me, Maxer's strength has always been like his sort of style, right?
Mhm.
He has his own style that 5 seconds before you can't really tell how he's gonna approach a fight or what he's
Mhm.
gonna do in the fight.
Mhm.
So it's not something that he plans beforehand. He's very free
Mhm.
in a way like that he plays.
Mhm.
If goes into a fight and he feels that it's good, then he'll stick around. But if he feels that it's not going to be good, he goes back. But
I
when he
know what
plays with Rafa, he just goes for everything
I
that
know
Rafa
what you
wants
mean.
him to go.
I know what you mean, and I was thinking about it. And as I mentioned before, I played some fun 2v2 practice before some 1v1 events with Maxter. And honestly, I must say that I legit thought, like always thought that Maxter could be machine in 2v2, like
Yeah,
unstoppable fucking force in 2v2 if you give him like space and you also kind of support him in a game.
I agree.
It
For
but
me, it's
here,
sort of like
mhm,
serious,
yeah,
like not in the same style, but sort of the same style because you kind of
At
need
some
to
point,
give him space.
he will be much more dangerous than Serious because he can like create situations.
Yeah,
Serious needs to wait for the situation to be created for him, and Maxter can create like new situations. And the difference is because look at 1v1 against which player more people struggle, for example, against Rapha or like against Kilson, that you had few guys who couldn't like really beat Rapha. It's like usually it's like big, they struggle more against Rapha because he applies much more pressure. Although like Kilson was applying pressure, but then you also have Wenger who at some point didn't apply as much pressure. So if you have two players who are like really like good mechanically and they are really good at the game, but then one of them is like kind of more steady, and other guy is like applying all the time pressure on you, it's just like completely different the game.
yeah,
Like,
and I think the example of Serious and Maxter was good because like Serious, he is the best in those 5 situations that he has per map, right? He has
mhm,
fights per map that he just keeps taking. He doesn't take fights outside of that, but in those 5 fights, he's unbeatable. And
mhm,
Maxter, he just kind of takes fight wherever he feels like, and in the fights that he takes, he obviously not as good as Serious, but he takes a lot more fights and he puts a lot more pressure.
mhm. Yeah,
It
yeah.
becomes harder to deal with.
Yeah, as I told you, I really think I really thought about it, and I think like Maxer could be like unstoppable force in 2v2, if you let him play
But
how he
will
wants.
he be an unstoppable force if he's being micromanaged?
I think he will be extremely good when he's micromanaged, and he will like we got 8 months. I think he will get used to the style, and I think
Yeah,
that's the because it's not completely the different style than he naturally would play. It's very like close to what he would play. He would actually like not really go to all of the items and sometimes take different fights. Sometimes even take more fights, but not especially on
yeah,
the item, but between. And I think it's very similar style to what he would like to play. That's why he will be like very good still in this team, and I think they will do like super good, and especially with more practice. But as I said, I think when I'm thinking about Maxter, it's like extremely like big force into V2 if you let him off the leash, basically.
I agree. He has like one of the biggest potentials out of all the players that I've seen.
Mhm. But if
And
he
there's
can like,
another thing as well.
but
Like,
if he can play like the best as he can, and still like playing as Rafa wants, that could also lead to a team which is like unstoppable at some point.
yeah,
Because the way they play, it's like not a bad way. Like I understand Rafa like logic behind it. I really want to play similar like to Rafa into V2. In general, like my idea is kind of similar, just a little bit different in some aspects. Because like I wouldn't like let myself fit like just like to gain control, or like just die to just restock like randomly without like power up coming in. But in general, I think it must be. I think the best idea of 2v2 in the world is like the idea of how Cooler wants to play 2v2. I think
how
he's
does
the
he want to
mix.
play 2v2?
I think he's the kind of mix of Rafa and like and who. Let me try to compare. Like he really wants to play heavy control, so he wants to know the timings second to second and the rotations, but he doesn't want to feed on it. So let's say we're giving up on heavy, we're still gonna play Mega, but we're gonna set up Force there. And then, based on what happened, we
Finish the
decide if
route, I guess.
yeah, based on of what happened, we deciding if we're playing for the next heavy or we're trying like to get some like greens and restack and then catch them again. Like with Rafa, it's like simple. Heavy now, we
You
go
go.
now. Mega now, we go now. There's no fucking like discussion even. You are low, you need to die. Just go and die. Cooler is like valuing more like frags. But it's same in 1v1. You had like
And
Cooler
with
who
the pace of 2v2, do you think it's possible to do what Cooler wants unless you already know what decision he's going to make beforehand?
Yeah, but I think that's even more complicated to do what
Yeah.
Rafa wants, for two
Huh.
people. So he
I
will
mean,
have,
that's why he has to micromanage a lot because it's super high octane gameplay.
yeah, yeah. In general, it's team mode, so it's very difficult. Now we are like, speaking like some experts or something, but it's like, as soon as you go to the game, and even if you are a pro player, you understand that fixing little mistakes is super extremely hard. So even if it seems like super easy, there is Mega, we play Mega, there is Heavy, we play Heavy.
Yeah,
It's not
very, very
really
simple.
that. It's not really
I'm
that
just going to be there
easy.
in perfect position and I'm going to get
Yeah.
the item.
for two people who playing against two other people who doing like random stuff in between. Because if we had two teams of Rapha, like this guy's rushing and this guy's rushing, it's like easy, you know. But you got four people with different kind of mindset, and you know, like some random things can happen, and like and power ups are game changers as well. So that's already dictating a lot of the tempo and a lot of the score and stuff, you know. And in 1v1 you didn't have power ups,
Yeah.
so you could like you know you could you could push this style even more efficiency with more efficiency in 1v1 than in 2v2, because like hard work of your like you know gaining control and keeping it for 2 minutes can be destroyed by one unlucky power up.
Yeah, power ups are very important in 2v2, especially if you're playing mobile champions.
Hmm.
Or like if you're playing a map like Tempest Shrine, for instance, and your enemies aren't playing mobile champions, it doesn't really matter because you don't
Hmm.
need to go to power up in that case. But in most of the maps, especially in this map pool right now, all of the maps are small, and you have a map that even has two power ups.
Hmm.
Like in Deep Embrace, you don't even need to be, getting frags before power ups. If you get the double power up, you win the game.
Hmm. Yeah. Speaking of Serious and Kells also, I really think like they got everything on point now for them. Like the comms, as we said, the style they play, because they're not really rushy or anything, but you know, like 2v2 allows you to get the fights you want to take. So like it just seems like everything is like good for them at the moment. And I'm just
Especially
curious.
if Keltz is just creating space for Sirius to take the fights he wants to take.
Mhm. And I
Because
really
if
think.
Keltz camped more, it wouldn't happen. But Keltz knows how to create space.
Mhm. And the thing about comms, like aside of like how calm they are and stuff, I think they are super like natural and comfortable with English. I think they are like one of the very few like foreign players who can like fluently speak English, both of them. I think
Yeah.
serious English is on a very high level, and like as well as Celts,
I mean,
which
I've
you got.
never really heard Sirius speak English. I've only heard him whine, but his whine is very very good.
Yeah, yeah, but still, like I think they are super good at that. Uh, Similar story like with Wenger-Raisy. So they were dominating like some cups, and now they are struggling more. But I know they are like they organizing some practice scrims, so hopefully they're gonna improve. And how do you see them doing like this cup?
Honestly, when I look at all of the teams right
Hmm.
now, and I think how Maestro would play versus them, I think if they practice for 2 months, a few hours every week, I think they will get second place minimum.
Hmm.
I think they with 2 months practice they'll be back on top, and only with Sirius and Kelt to try and beat them.
Hmm. Do you think they will eventually overcome Maxter Rapha?
Yeah, I think so. Just because like they have so much experience together. Like their comms, whenever I see them play, even at high level, they don't need to calm that much anyway because they already
Hmm.
know how each other wants to play
Yeah,
the game.
yeah,
Because they've discussed that so long, right?
yeah.
There's no need for each of them to micromanage the other because the game plan's already all there. They know
Hmm.
what everyone wants to do. They know what fights to take and how to take the fights they want to take. They know if one of them isn't coming a lot, the other one starts coming. Because they both can IGL, right? They both can
Yeah,
support, they both can
yeah,
IGL, and they both can carry. And they both have incredible aim as well.
yeah,
Like they
yeah.
have no real flaws.
Hmm. And super good champion pool with really good clutch.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
the only other team that has such a big champion pool would probably be Series and Kelts because of Kelts. Series champion pool is very limited, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter what champion he plays because he doesn't move.
Uh-huh.
But Kelts plays every champion. Like in that final that they had versus you, yeah,
Hmm.
last week, they own. I think the biggest advantage they had was that you guys banned Anarchy, right? And then they banned Strog.
Hmm.
And by banning Strog, it means that Kelt could still play Clutch, for instance, and neither of you had that champion in the pool.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, exactly. But still, I think Max and Rafa also got like good
Yeah,
champion pool. Anyway,
it's just a matter of seeing how they progress.
yeah. Anyway, it's gonna be super interesting to see like how people gonna progress during online stage, because we got a lot of months coming into the LAN.
Since we're like on the top four teams, do you think any other team can get top four besides the four that we talked about? Because RMV Drummies got like second or third place in the other cup they played.
Hmm.
but they're not going to be playing this one. And since
That
RMV doesn't seem to have much time right now, I don't know how much they're going to practice.
that's the shame. I really wanted to see them because I really think like somehow RMV Drami's team clicks. I think they are
For
so
me, it makes no sense, but it clicks.
same. I think they are so crazy, and I really think like RMV is like extremely good mechanically. He
Yeah,
plays fast and he like hits shit tons.
and he communicates really well.
Yeah, yeah,
Like for me, before Rafa teamed up with Maxter, I thought like the best player to team up with Rafa would be someone like RMV, a native speaker who communicates a
yeah,
lot and
yeah,
hits a lot.
yeah. That would be very, very good short term. I'm not sure how it will work out long term because I don't. I'm just not sure. Like I know if they will team up straight away, they will be super good.
Yeah,
But I'm just
I
thinking like
get what you're getting at. Short term
with
versus long term, maybe
long
not
term
that good.
Maxter, I think will be better than RMV.
Yeah, per chance.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like I don't know. I really value the experience of like LAN finals and like Maxter already proved himself.
Yeah, and if you put that uh, if you consider that, and that's a really big thing to consider. Usually RMV on LAN, his performance drops significantly, and he's
Yeah,
completely aware of that.
yeah, yeah.
One
So
thing though, if you could team up any two players that are currently active to make the best team, who would they be?
like if I would make the best team, right?
Yeah, the best team. Just pick two players to make the
Oh,
best possible team. Because like I don't think any of the teams that we have right now are, optimal.
I'm
Like
not
all
sure.
the teams are kind of made a bit rushed.
I'm not sure that team exists, to be honest.
Oh, I have mine ready.
I would have to think for hours.
Oh man,
Honestly,
that's so
there's
much
like
time.
few like there's some combinations which could be good, but mm, no. Let me know what you think.
Serious-vengeuR.
Uh, no, I don't think so.
No, that's the best team. I
What,
taught them both how to play 2v2. They would be amazing.
Roof? You will teach them?
No, I already taught them.
Ah, you already taught them.
How do you think they're so good, man? I taught them. I taught them everything they know since they were 10 years old.
You taught everyone.
Everything they know.
Yeah.
Not everyone, almost everyone.
You teach Rafa how to play 1v1. Just don't be shy. Anyway, why why do you think that will be the best team?
Just because of the style they're trying to play. Because like Wenger, he started like out as like a support type of
Hmm.
person, but now he does like carry and IGL, which is kind of what Keltz does. But I think Wenger has a lot more experience than Keltz does,
Hmm.
and he can keep Serious more focused and less whiny than he is. Because that's the only like sort of
Okay.
flaw that I see in Serious team is that sometimes Serious starts whining a lot, and
Hmm.
usually it's fine because Keltz can kind of keep him on check. But if they both start whining a bit, then it becomes a problem.
Okay. Uh, maybe they wouldn't really win when it really matters. So, for example, they playing like
Maybe.
semis of like KeenCon final LAN.
The thing
Then,
about Serious is that he whines, but it doesn't affect him.
yeah,
But it can affect your teammate
yeah,
if you start
yeah,
whining.
yeah. I know, I
That's the
know.
problem.
That's the problem for like multiple teams, I think.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because like if you're playing with someone, you start whining. You know it doesn't affect you, so you still whine. But if
Hmm.
Sirius starts whining, then you can see Keltz eventually starts whining a bit more, and he will start being a little bit out of focus.
Hmm. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I see both of them, Venger and Serious, to be on the best team. But it's just somehow didn't like connect them too. Like,
Okay, we gotta make this happen. Make $1 million LAN. I'll bring Wenger in Sirius. You bring any team you want.
mhm. I think Crazy is also very underrated in 2v2.
Braze is underrated on everything. Like
I
he's
think
the second best Quake Champions player ever.
yeah, he's very like stable with everything, with mechanicals, with like his mindset, with timings, with everything. I think he's super like good. Like
And
I
he
think
has
he's
a
the best
really big
ABC
champion
game.
pool.
Yeah, I think he's the best ABC game out there.
Agreed. With
So
that, I completely agree.
and then you give him, I don't know. I don't know. It's like, it's weird because like sometimes you think some team can be extremely good, and
And then they're
then
not.
they are not, and then you have like team which you don't think can be really good, like Karan with Ramis, and they can be super good.
Yeah.
So it's
You
weird,
know, I would team up with Razy, Rafa, to break
Yeah,
the curse. One always wins, the other always gets second
yeah.
place.
I
I
was
want to see what happens.
I was thinking about that too. So
I want to see what happens.
I was, for example, like on paper, you have Serious and Close, right? The best team in the world, but I don't think it would work somehow.
I don't think it would work either.
I think Close is a bit too quiet. He does too many like own his own things, and he's playing too fast
Who
for
would
Serious.
who would even time the items on that team? No one.
They both kind of timing, but
Ugh.
it's like, but it's not this like consistent like 2v2 style of timing,
Yeah, and they
and
both play a
reminding
different
and
style
repeating.
as well. It's
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
because Claus isn't really like he goes to fights, but he doesn't really like create space. He
hmm
basically takes 1v2s and wins.
hmm I think Keltz really fits well Serious. I think Serious was doing good like with Maxter too. In
Yeah.
general, I think if you got a guy who is like mechanically gifted like Serious, he will do like very good in every team.
If he does 7k damage per map, it doesn't really matter
Yeah,
who he's playing with as long as his teammate doesn't do 3k.
yeah, exactly. And that's something in game. Yeah.
Speaking
Anyway,
of Claus, do you think Silence and Claus will team up? Will, practice more?
I
Because we haven't seen the practice in like a month now.
mhm. I don't think they will, although I wish they would. I think that will
Same.
be super good. I would also like to see Xron and Klaus, for example.
Also cool.
Would be fun. Would be just fun. I would also like to see Klaus and Cooler.
Oh.
That would be super fun. I just want to see like big names like come back and have like a good teammate. I really want to see Cooler coming back and like it's always good to have him around and like have big names. Like I don't want Tox to like quit playing. I want him to also have a good time teammate and play. I want them all back. I think that's what would like be good for the game in general.
Yeah, I mean, if like the KeenCon price was already 10k, if it was 50k, I think they would all come back.
Exactly. Does did the donation started already for KingCon finals or they gonna like
I think
open
they're
it
still
up
doing
later?
donations per month
Per
for each
month.
of the monthly tournaments.
And then yeah, and then they're gonna like have one for the finals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be dope if they can like gather some like bigger money, which is or it's already good and it's like, we got majority of players. And for example, for Cooler, I don't think it's about the money. It's like more like he needs a teammate that he feels he wants to sacrifice time with. I think he will sacrifice his time with Tox. It's just like I think Tox doesn't really want to invest so much time in playing 2v2. I think he just like he also is same as Cooler. He doesn't really care about the money, so he wants to kind of enjoy the game. If you throw them up, which Tox doesn't like, he will just skip one of the King Cons. It's
Yeah.
not a problem for him. That's the issue. If Tox doesn't enjoy something, he will just not play. And it's not the matter of
Yeah,
if it's
that's
10
why
or
he's not playing
50k.
with Zeneku.
Yeah.
Because he's not enjoying the game. And Hran managed to get him out to play one cup, and
Yep.
now he's considering playing another one with Cooler. So
Yeah. It's weird though, cause like Zen Talks did like quite good in the beginning, right?
weirdly as well, right? Because
Yeah,
no one was expecting them to do as well, and they got like
yeah,
second place.
yeah. Although that was the very beginning, so that could have changed over the time.
Yeah.
But still, I
But
think,
that's one of the team ups that no one saw that could be good, and then it somehow worked.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting. And what do you think about like Zen base? Or what about base and cooler?
I think Base is really underrated in 2v2 because he's like
Yeah.
sort of IGL, right? He doesn't have amazing English, but he has a really good idea of what to do at every point in the game.
hmm
And Zeneku, it works very well with him because Zeneku likes being micromanaged. Like
Yeah,
he's the one that speaks English the best, but he doesn't really speak much. He says timings and he just waits for orders and he follows the orders.
yeah, yeah.
Bases and Cooler maybe would not work as well because they kind of both like IGLing, and I don't think either likes to be micromanaged.
Hmm. Do you think people care if they are like micromanaged or they are micromanaging?
I think so.
For me, it doesn't matter. I would actually rather like to be micromanaged. It's just like I'm just
I
fucking
can
chilling,
micromanage you,
and
Ave.
and then I have like a teammate who tells me, Heavy 17, let's go. Mega after that 24, let's go. I'm just chilling. I'm just playing. And if you are
Yeah, but I guess
micromanaging
it depends
something, you
on
need
every.
to time, you need to fucking like,
Yeah,
think what to do. You need to tell your teammates what to do because he doesn't know. And then, it's like you have shit tons of things to do.
I think better than micromanaging is both players agree on what to do at every point in the game, and then there are no need for calls more than 3 4 times per map.
Yeah, that's the best. And that's
That's
the
the best.
easiest. That's the easiest. And I think like and that's why I don't understand why there are some issues in some teams. Because in general, to V2, like on in the book, it's very easy.
That's why there are issues in some teams because before the game they don't really talk about how they want to play. Do you think many teams are watching their own VODs and deciding, oh, at this time we're gonna do this? I think a lot of the teams just play and then try to figure stuff out during the game.
Mm. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Obviously, like not a lot of teams like rewatching and stuff, but I think one thing is like agreeing on how we want to play and then executing it in the game.
Yeah.
Because maybe some things are like
Like we
undoable
said,
for
it's very
for
easy to
players.
say let's do this, but then
Yeah.
actually doing it is harder.
Mhm. That's why when we were speaking and we were talking about me and Hron, it's like I think I exactly know what are the limits of Hron and how much he can do, and I just like know that I cannot like accept more. And he knows also my limits and know how much I can do, and he knows like what he can expect and not and what not.
Yeah,
So
when I play versus you guys, I think I probably always go versus like the highest level of team play that I've seen in 2v2 Quake. Because you guys, like, since you know each other so well, you always seem to appear to help each other at the right time. You know when to back off of fights together. Maybe neither of you hits like a serious, but the
mhm,
team play is the highest level that I've seen.
yeah, yeah. It just yeah, as we said, some things click, some things don't click for some teams. That's why it's interesting. I just don't know why like 2v2 was never so popular as 1v1 because like I think long term it has so much more depth into it at some point, and like it could be so interesting for people to watch. It just, I don't understand.
But it's also 2v2 in Quake Champions, right?
Mhm,
It might have more. I don't know. I don't know if it 2v2 in Quake Champions has a lot more depth compared to Duel,
mhm.
because there's weapon respawn 5 seconds.
Yeah,
All the weapons do so much damage. There are starting weapons.
maybe that's why it has more depth and it's faster and creates more
Uh,
mess.
then you're
Because
going with the CPM mentality that more things are more depth.
if the game look if the weapons would spawn every 30 seconds, it would be much slower and much more like kind of predictable and organized.
Yeah,
I don't know, both are good. Anyway, we already speaking a lot, and I think if you guys listen and it doing cardio, you already lost some weight. So we're gonna
you're
finish with
welcome.
that, and we're gonna leave you with that. Let us know in the comments who do you think gonna win. What will be
And
the
also
best?
tell us your best team. Yeah.
Yeah, what will be the best team for you, like your dream team, and who do you would you team up with to win everything? Uh, Tell us everything you want to say about 2v2 as well. Anyway, Bruno, thank you for your time. I
Thank you for asking me.
appreciate it a lot, and I hope to see you more with me.
See ya.
Thank you.